Hey everyone, it's Kara again with more tips for you. So I hope there are people out there watching this, either live or replay. So if you're watching live, put your name in there so I can welcome you. And if you're watching replay, put hashtag replay. Knowing that you watch the replays is what keeps me going and providing the information that I have to you. It keeps me motivated and feeling like, hey, this is worth the effort. So if you appreciate my shares, please let me know. Thanks. Okay, so today, y'all voted to learn the fastest way to regulate the brain state for optimal learning. And it's so easy. You're going to be like, what? Really? That's what I felt like when I learned it. So I have to go back a little bit to share how I learned it. I was listening to a speaker, and unfortunately, I do not remember the name of that person, but she was talking about this thing in neurophysiology. I have to look down because I want to say neuropsychology, but that's not right. It's neurophysiology. In the field of neurophysiology, there is this thing that they talk about called the Neuro Arousal Continuum. I've never heard of this before. In 31 years of teaching, working with special needs students, and trying to help kids regulate, I'm like, oh my gosh, I never knew there was like a word for that continuum of regulation versus dysregulation. So basically, if you think about it like a line, in the middle is optimal brain state. And that's where we want to be. If we're in the optimal brain state, we have just the right amount of energy, just the right amount of movement, and we're ready to learn. And then on either side of the continuum are the not so good things. And on the one side is too much energy, those when you just get intense movement and vigorous activity going on, and you cannot calm yourself down to think. That's one side of the continuum. And then the other side of the continuum is when you just can't stay awake. You are exhausted. And we see it in school that kids like put their heads down and they come in and they sit like this, like, they're not even going to attempt. And sometimes we think that's just choice. But what I learned by learning about the Neuro Arousal Continuum is that it isn't always choice. It's something going on in our brain that we need help regulating. And so we want to keep out of those ends of the continuum where we're super, super excitable and stressed and anxiety and movement, and the part where we're calm, too tired, have no energy. Neither of those are good for learning. We want to be in the center. So when we are feeling one or the other, this is amazing. 3 things that we can do that will get us back to regulated state for optimal learning as quick as possible. The very first one is to go outside. I always knew we should try to look out a window. Like, seeing in nature, being in nature calms me. It calms a lot of people. But I tried this after I heard it. And the point is you need to be outside, not just looking outside, because then you get the panoramic view. And it's the panoramic view that calms the state of your brain and allows the relaxation to come in when you're over anxious. So if you're able to take a student outside, that's going to really help when they're overly excited on the end of the continuum. And then walking forward also helps us regulate our state of brain. So you can do that inside or outside. And so those 2 things are going to help the most for somebody who is on this end of the continuum where they are overexcited, too much movement, can't calm down, highly anxious. On the side where you're too low of energy, the fastest way to get back to regulation is drink water. It's like so easy, but you have to know what you don't know in order to use it, right? So you just drink water, and not like go take a sip from the drinking fountain, but drink a good 4 ounces of water. Getting water in our system helps regulate us, gives us more energy, and gets us back to optimal state of learning quickest. So that's the super easy thing I decided to share today. I'm checking my comments here. I don't see anything. So if you're here, please comment. Let me know if you were wowed by that information and amazed as I was. And I'll go over it again really quick because it's so easy. When we're on that very excitable part of the equilibrium, we have too much energy, too much anxiety, too much vigorous movement. Quickest way to get back to optimal brain state, go outside so you get the panoramic view, not just look out a window, and or walk forward. Quickest way when we're on the other one, when we're in low energy, can't even keep our head above the desk. Drink at least 4 ounces of water. And that's it. You've learned that in 5 minutes or less. I don't even think this was that long. See you next time.